Well, hello. Oh, let's get rid of that. And we'll maybe get rid of that one. Yeah, I think we're good. My goodness, lots of you here before me today. Let's have a look. Who have we got here? Hi, Richard. I don't know if that's Richard or Carol. Hi, Margaret. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Pat. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Kay. Hi, Avril. Hi, Tina. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Di. I think I've caught up with you all. Oh, hi, Carol. You're all springing in on me. So, can you believe it's been 2 weeks since the last one? It's bonkers. Hi, Sarah. Right, so tonight we're going to be showing you some of the fab samples from our design team and a very quick-ish demo with one that I'm actually not taking on TV. So I thought I would show you a couple of, one with that this evening. Hi Janice, hi Sue, hi Sarah, hi Dawn. Blimey, everybody's in tonight. So we are going to get started. I will go back in, hi Barbara, and show you the stamps first, just to give you a quick reminder. So these are the stamps we launched 2 weeks ago. So we have the candy cane. So these are our two. We've only launched 2 Christmas this year, and we are not taking these on TV. I think we're Christmased out on TV. Evening, Kathy, and Martin. I think that's supposed to be, and me it says. So good evening, Martin. Then we have a Jolly Holly. Hello, Carol and Sophia. So Jolly Holly is a smaller version of our holly wreath with a lovely big bow on there. And then we've got a bit of holly coming off the sides and some ornaments hanging off there. So we've got some candy canes and some baubles hanging off there. So those two won't be on our TV show on Monday. These ones will. So we have got Flaming Flowers, which has got the 3 different sizes of flowers and the 3 different sizes of foliage. Then we have got Tiger Lily, which says, thank you for brightening up my day, wishing you the best of luck, thanks, and have a lovely day. Then we have Crest Blooms, live life in full bloom, forever friends, and happy birthday. So it should come in a little bit closer so you can see them a bit better. Didn't look at how well you could see the other ones. Seems lots of you on YouTube tonight. So we've got a floral oval frame which says, best wishes, wishing you a very happy birthday. I hope your day is full of fun and celebration. And again, they fit in the centre of this sentiment. Hi, Christine. Oh, hi, Mia. New to us. Welcome. Tonight's show's a little bit, or Facebook's and YouTube's a little bit different to what we would normally do because we're showing you all the samples from the design team as well because of a TV on Monday, but you'll get the idea. And then we've got Fly Away, which has got this lovely big stamp here, and then the individual butterflies as well. This is the one that we used on the last demo that we did on our last live. And then last but not least, we've got Stargaze, which I'm not sure if any of you have got to see any, but apparently there's been loads and loads of shooting stars in the last few weeks. I did see one, last few nights, sorry, not weeks. I did see one and then I gave up and went to bed, and that was a couple of nights ago. Not last night, or the night before that, when we still had clear sky. The last 2 nights we've had really, really cloudy sky, so get to miss out on all of that. So I also missed all the northern lights this time too, which is not fair. Still got that awful cough, so ignore me. I'll just apologise once and then we'll be done. Otherwise I'm going to be apologising all evening. So hi Helen, hi Carol. So we will start with the samples. We haven't got hundreds and hundreds this time because I was quite late managing to get the stamps out to our design team, but we've got some lovely ones here. So the first one's from Carol, and she's used a floral oval frame, Crest Blooms, Fly Away, and the mesh stencil, and distressed watercolour pencils in a multiple of colours. So there we go. So you've got your oval frame in here, She's used a couple of the little butterflies on here that are on Fly Away. And then this is our crest blooms as well around the edge, as well as our mesh stencil in the background. Then we have one from Helen, and she's used black ink coloured with Copic pens, berries highlighted with crystal lacquer, image highlighted with golden glamour dust. So it's not going to pick it up on here, but there's a few bits and pieces of sparkly glitter on there. So that's a lovely one from Helen. Next we have a lovely one from Hazel, and this is using Crest Blooms. She's used Memento ink and coloured with Copics. General Sentiments is the sentiment that she's stamped on here as well. So we've got the lovely Crest Blooms there, and then the sentiment is from General Sentiments. It says, sending good thoughts your way. That one I came up with because you don't always get to send nice cards and get well soons, because not everybody is going to get well soons. Hi Jules, hi Eileen. And then we have another one from Hazel. This again is using Crest Blooms, Memento ink and Copic markers. The sentiment is from Tiger Lily, and she's stamped in Versaclair Twilight using the mesh stencil to emboss. So if you haven't ever used it before, you can use your stencils to emboss with as well. So Hazel's put this through a die cut machine and embossed it to get your printed image on there, and then she's fussy cut lightly around the edge, not gone in and out of every little nook and cranny, and then Have a Lovely Day is from our Tiger Lily stamp set. It's taking notes out of focus by leaving that there, isn't it? Swapping and changing here, trying to find the space to put these in. Then we have another one from Carol, which is Floral Oval Frame, Christmas Wishes Sentiment, and Distress Oxide in Rustic Wilderness, Distress Watercolour pencils in various colours, and Distress Spritz as well. So there we go. So she's used the oval frame here. This is our Floral Oval Frame, which she's made into sort of a Christmassy colour. Hi Margaret. Excuse me, into a poinsettia, and she's popped a couple of little gold gems in the middle, and then she's used the floral crest blooms around the edge, and then she spritzed it with a distress oxide spray in fossilized amber. So there, that's that one. Hi Ruth. And then last but not least for Crest Blooms, we have got another one from Carol, and the stencil which she's used on here is Lovely Bubbly. So the colours she's used are Distress Oxides in Salvage Patina and Cracked Pistachio, and multiple colours of Distress Watercolour pencils on here as well. So another lovely one from Carol. Right, bear with me, there's going to be a bit of rustling. I need to put them in a bag so they don't all fall on the floor as we go. So hopefully they'll now stay upright. So next we have got Tiger Lily. So here we go. So this one is one I was playing with. So wishing you the best of luck. So this is using the oval frames, and the colours I've used on here is Wild Honey, Spiced Marmalade and Carved Pumpkin. Just stamped out in black ink and black embossing powder over the top. A real quick, easy card. And again, the sentiment is also on Tiger Lily. Then we have another one from Carol, and it's using Tiger Lily, Floral Oval Frame Sentiment, and Illusion Stencil Distress Oxides in Seedless Preserve, Picked Raspberry and Kitsch Flamingo. So she's used the stencil on the background there. This is the little sentiment that comes with it, with the Floral Oval Frame. That one comes out of, so that fits inside the Floral Oval Frame as well. But it's a nice little addition onto here as well. Thank you, Amanda. They are an amazing little team. So then we have Tiger Lily done stamp done by Hazel, and she's used Memento black ink and coloured with Copic markers, and that's all I need to say. Now I'm assuming, now I may be wrong, that she may have done this 3 times onto 3 different colours and then just chopped and changed the cardstock, but she may have also pieced all the cardstock together and then stamped on the top. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's individuals, in which case you would need a stamp press for that, which I don't often use. So if you want to do that, you would have 3 colours of the same size cardstock. You're going to put your card into the stamping press, stamp your image and swap it out each time 3 times, and then you can cut it into 3 sections, and then you've got 3 separate cards using the same sentiment and the same stamp. I'm assuming that's what she's done. I might be wrong. If Hazel's watching, she might be able to tell us. Then we have another one from Carol. She's used Tiger Lily, and the sentiment is from Floral over frame again. That same sentiment, wishing you a very happy birthday. And she's just used the flower heads as the background, and she's popped, I don't think you can pick those up, but we've got loads and loads of tiny little gems on here on the ends of each of the flowers there on the stamens. Another one from Hazel, and this is Tiger Lily, stamped with Memento ink, coloured with Copic markers, and a tartan stencil with a yellow ink in the background. I don't think that's going to come up on the on camera, but there is a very light yellow stamped image on the background from the stencil, and then she's just stamped off the page with that, and I think that's a lovely card. Thank you for brightening up my day. And then we have one from Dye, and this is using Floral over frame, VersaFine Onyx Black and clear embossing powder background with Fusion inks and Mica Magic. Really simple, just coloured the background, stamped on here. Now this is a linen cardstock, so you never get a completely crisp image when it's a linen cardstock, so it looks slightly textured. So be aware of that, excuse me, when you're stamping, that if you are onto textured cardstock, you will not get a completely crisp image. Then we have another one from Dye, and she has coloured with watercolour brush pens. Background. The background squiggles, stencil she's used here. The colours she has used on it are saltwater taffy, abandoned coral, warm lipstick, and festive berries. So she's done it in multiple colours coming down. And then again, this is a linen cardstock, so you get that effect when you stamp the image out. So that is our Tiger Lily stamps. Now on to our flaming flowers. So we have a Z fold card, sorry, from Carol first off. Flaming flowers, sentiment is from Oval Frames, and the colour she's used is Distress Oxides in Cracked Pistachio, Prized Ribbon, and Broken China. You all know I like those colours. And so she's made the whole background from the flower stamp set, and then just done a topper using those flowers, and she's put lots of dimension on them. I don't know if it's going to pick it up. You can see there's a fair amount of dimension in there as well. Next we have one from Hazel, Flaming Flowers and the Dot Dot stamp set, which you may or may not be seeing again very soon. Coloured with Copic markers, sentiment is from Crest Blooms. So live life in full bloom. And remember, I think it was it last week, week before? Time before, when I said hang on to those little strips of card that you trim off the edge. That's exactly what she's done, and she's used them just to, instead of using a piece of ribbon, she's just pulled it through like that, and then obviously used her own dies on there. So the dot dot stamp is what you're seeing on the background here. It just fills in those little empty spaces if you don't want it to be super white. Then we have another one from Hazel. And this is Flaming Flowers, coloured with Copic markers. Sentiment is from Floral Arrangement, which was our last release. And the background is Falling Leaves stencil. So again, clean and simple. What she's actually done here is she's gridded this slightly. So the score lines, and you're going to see me using them again today. And then she's just cut those out onto white cardstock. And remember that trick I told you about? Leaving that little white edge all the way around? If you didn't know that was there, you wouldn't see it. You look directly at the stamped image. So if you're not great at cutting it out, remember, leave that little white edge around the edge if you can, and it will take the eye away from your cutting out. Another one from Carol, using Flaming Flowers. Sentiment is from Crest Blooms, Distress Oxides in Picked Raspberry, Worn Lipstick, Fossilised Amber and Peacock Feathers. So again, a really nice bright card. Amanda, it's one of our, it's not old, it's probably maybe 3 years maybe. So it's not like right back at the beginning. It's one of our larger sets, the A5 stamp sets. So that might ring a few bells. And it might have been before you were on this buying from us. I'm not sure. It might have been just before you found us. But yeah, remember that one. It's a lovely stamp set. And then last but not least on this collection, we've got one from Helen, and she's used white embossing powder onto vellum using Stargaze, which is coming up in a moment. Flaming Flowers, white embossing powder, excuse me, and the sentiment is from Tiger Lily. Now, if I bring that in close, you can see that she's stamped onto vellum with white embossed it with white embossing powder. Excuse me a minute. This cough is driving me insane, people. So she's stamped onto paper here, and then she's put some, if you can see it, some tiny little coloured beads onto her flowers as well. Stamped the leaves onto heat resistant acetate and layered those up, and I think it's a beautiful card. And the sentiment is from, what did you say on here? Tiger Lily, that's where I thought it was from. So the sentiment is from Tiger Lily, and I'm just going to tuck that leaf back where it was behind that petal, if I can, because I just moved it by accident. I'll fight with that afterwards. Excuse me. Every time I start talking, which isn't great when you're doing a Facebook Live, is it? And YouTube Live. So that is all our Flaming Flowers stamps. So we're going to go on to our oval frames. So Floral oval frame. The first one is from Di, and she has used on the background here Floral oval frame, VersaFine Onyx Black with clear embossing powder, bold brush strokes and shaded lilac Distress Oxide. So she stamped it out. This is her Distress Oxide on the background through our bold brush strokes stencil. She has gone around the edges of the flowers with some silver, and she's just to make those pop a little bit, and she stamped it in black with clear embossing powder. Don't know if I can pick up that sparkle. If I come in too close, it'll just go out of focus on that. But there you go. Then we have a lovely one from Hazel again. Floral oval frame. Oh, good grief! I didn't make my life easy with that one, did I? Coloured with Memento inks. The sentiment is from our Christmas letters stamp set, and she's used the tartan stencil in the background. So again, Hazel likes doing this. She does a lot with the stencils, and she puts them through an embossing folder. Oh, now Carol, you're throwing me because you're now on your own. Look, you've gone off Richard's phone onto Facebook. You've thrown me off. And then she's used her own oval dies here, which work perfectly with this stencil. The sentiment, as she said, is from our Christmas letter stamp that we launched last year. And again, she's taken the route of turning this into a really lovely little Christmas card. Perfect size to go through as a standard letter. Then we have another one from Di, and she has used floral oval frame and the ovals, mask and stencil, versifying grey and clear embossing powder, tumbled glass and evergreen bow, distress oxides. So again, she's used the ovals in the background with that technique I've shown you where you colour over the top. Oh sorry, use the mask and you brush over the top. And then here she's actually cut out the flowers and popped in some dimension. I don't think it's going to show it up there. And just coloured over the top of those flowers. Again, lovely card. Another one from Hazel, and she has used the Floral oval frame, stamped in Memento, and she's used the oval stencils again. These work perfectly with this set. So she's just literally, it's a really bright card, wishing you a very happy birthday. That is from, it is from the Floral oval frame. I'm thinking it was a different stamp set. So in the background here, lightly she's used yellow. Again, it doesn't show up great on camera. She's used the yellow oval stencil, one of the smallest sizes by the looks of that. And it again works really well with that oval, and then she's just popped some colour in by colouring those in yellow. And then last but not least, another lovely one from Helen. She's used gold embossing powder onto vellum. So this oval is all cut out in vellum, gold embossing powder on the top, and then she's layered up a couple of sections here. So she's cut the flowers out and she's cut some of the leaves out, not all of them. Popped a few red gems on there to make the berries. And again, best wishes, you can send sort of Christmas card, a birthday card in December. Best wishes can mean anything though, can't it? You could make that into a Christmas card, whatever style you wanted. So that's our Floral oval frames. And everybody did dinky ones of those ones. So next we have Stargaze. I do like stargazing. Quite often when I'm outside with Maisie in an evening, if the weather's nice, I'll sit in the garden and just stare at stars. And the longer you look, the more stars you see. Didn't know that until I started doing that. So first of all, we have got Carol. She's used Stargaze, Floral oval frame sentiment, distress oxides in fossilized amber, ripe persimmon and mermaid lagoon, and a multiple of colours of distress watercolour pencils. So again, another good one for a gatefold card. So she's got the two sentiments in here. She's also stamped, if you can pick it up, the background layer as well with it. She's gone on the inside and then done a topper with them as well. Ooh, a bit violent. Blimey, we're 26 minutes in already. Where does the time go? So one from Hazel. She's used Stargaze Memento ink, line stencil coloured with multiple inks, Crest Blooms sentiment stamped with Memento black. So again, she's just used multiple different colours of inks on here, on our line stencil. Not too heavy, hasn't coloured in the stamp set at all, just black, no embossing, no nothing. Perfect to go through as a birthday card or whatever type of card you want as a standard letter. So, you've all gone quiet on me. Another one from Hazel, and again the sentiment for this one is from Crest Blooms, and again I think she used washi tape here. No, must be some coloured cardstock she already has. So her own cardstock, which she's got stripy just across the top there, our happy birthday on there, which is from Crest Blooms, and then she's popped that one individual stamp on there, popped a few gems on there just to make a few of them pop, and Bob's your uncle. Then we've got one from Carol, and this is using Stargaze, Floral oval frame sentiment, lovely bubbly stencil, distress oxide, cracked pistachio, prize ribbon and broken china. I wouldn't have thought about prize ribbon with those colours, but it looks good. Again, just stamp that image out twice, pop that sentiment on there and layered it up with a few foam pads underneath, and Carol does as she's told and follows it through. Thank you very much, Carol. You all know I like to take it through the card. So again, this one is from Carol. She's done a dinky one. Carol never does little cards. Distress Oxide in Saltwater Taffy, Distress Watercolours in multiple colours. There we go. Another lovely card, wishing you the best of luck, which I believe comes off Tiger Lily, I believe. And then last but not least from Helen on this one, stamped and embossed with gold embossing powder and sentiments, Distress Oxides in inks on the blended background, but she hasn't given me the colours. Bless her, she's had a bit of a week, Helen has, with things going on at home. So she's just literally stamped off the page in these two corners in gold embossing powder. I'm trying to get the light to catch it without blinding us with the mirror card that's behind it. Again, really, really nice stamped image, and then just pop that sentiment in the middle, just pops it. Sometimes it's nice just to send a card because you don't have to have a special occasion to send it for. So that is Stargaze. So we're now on to Fly Away, which is the last of the ones that we're taking on telly, and then we'll show you a few of the Christmassy ones that the design team have done for us, and then we'll get on to this really quick demo I've got for you. Because, ladies and gents, I still haven't had any breakfast, let alone any dinner or lunch, so we're not going to be here forever. So this is the one that you all saw me do last week. Last time we were on, not last week, week before. So you've got lovely bubbly stencil in the background. I can't remember what colours I used. Worn lipstick, picked raspberry, fossilised amber, cracked pistachio, and I can't remember what the last colour is. Broken china, I think. Can't remember. Some of you may remember. Stamped and embossed with onyx black and crystal clear embossing powder, and then we just stamped it out again and cut out some of those butterflies, and then we did take it inside as well. Next we have a lovely one from Carol, again another Z fold card. She's used Fly Away. The sentiment is from Tiger Lily, and the Distress Oxides in mustard seed, seedless preserve, picked raspberry, twisted citron, mermaid lagoon. I'm just going to bring it in so that you can see, because it's multiple colours. Again, she's stamped all the way through, so it takes all that colour all the way through, and then just popped herself a little topper on there. And another one from Carol. Floral oval frame, sentiment, Fly Away, illusion stencil, Distress Oxides and Distress watercolour pencils. So a similar thing to what we did last time. So she's decoupaged the butterflies. She has actually put silicone glue behind, so they will stay hard, whereas I haven't done that on mine. I've just left mine so they float up, but Carol's you can put a fair amount of pressure on and they will stay up, which is lovely. And then again that stencil in the background. Then we have another one from Hazel. She's stamped in Memento black ink and coloured with Copic markers. The sentiment is from Floral Silhouette, which was on our last release. And Versafine Claire Tranquil, she has used to stamp the sentiment. But lots and lots of different colours, just using those butterfly parts from the Fly Away stamp set, just the individual butterflies. And again, just offcuts of cardstock. Don't ever throw them away. If you've got space to keep them, ideal for what Hazel's used here. So again, another lovely little card to pop in the post. And last but not least, again from Hazel, Fly Away, and the sentiment is from Floral Arrangement, which was also on our last release. So there's no dimension on this, it's all one level. She's just masked off the sides here and stamped in a Versaclair Twilight colour, and I think that looks lovely. So that is our Fly Away stamp set. So that's all 6 that we're going to be taking on TV. Then we will come to the excuse me, our Christmas ones. I'm going to whiz through these quickly. So we have one from Hazel, Jolly Holly, Versamark ink and gold embossing powder. Sentiment is from Christmas Letter, which was last year's Christmas release, which I think is a really lovely card. No colouring, just embossing. From our house to yours, happy Christmas. So if you're not really confident with your colouring in, this is an ideal Christmas card to send out. Then we have another one from Carol. She's done a few little ones this time. Jolly Holly, Christmas sentiment, Christmas letter sentiment, and distress watercolours in lumberjack plaid and fossilised amber. So she hasn't coloured the whole thing in, just little sections of it. So she's done the berries, and she's done the bow, and she's done bits and pieces on all of the others. So she's done the red strips on the candy canes, and she's done the yellow bows. She's done the berries on the holly, but she hasn't done the holly leaves. So it just kind of makes, it's just something a little bit different, makes it pop a little bit. Clean, white, crisp card. Lovely. And then another one from Hazel, using the Jolly Holly stamp set. Again, the sentiment is from Christmas letters, and it's been coloured with various Copic markers. I think that is lovely. You know, when I design these stamps, this is what I had in my head. And I just think it's beautiful. Really simple little card. You can sit in front of the telly and colour in loads of these ones. And then Carol has done another one using watercolour distress watercolour pencil in lumberjack. Again, another one where she's just picked out certain parts to colour in. So it's all done in red, anything that should be red, and a big red bow. So she's done the bows on the candy cane, she's done the berries, and just popped on a couple of little gems. And I think that's perfect. So that is our Jolly Holly stamp set. And then we will move on to our candy cane stamp set. So we have got Carol, again using tartan stencil, candy cane. Sentiment is from Christmas letters, distress oxides, lumberjack plaid, and multiple colours of distress watercolour pencils. So she's used the tartan stencil in the background, just popped on that candy cane there, and just popped on the sentiment. Really quick, easy card to make. And then another one from Carol. She's used candy cane, Christmas letter stamp set, distress watercolour pencils in multiple colours, and glossy accents to make the berries shiny. And I don't know if that's going to show up on here. So she's coloured it all in, and I'm trying to catch the light on the berries. There you go. You can just catch them in that top corner that they are shiny. So again, a really nice fun card to send out. You could even pop a little section in here and maybe make it like a gift card for somebody, because like your teenage grandchildren or whatever. Hi Tina, the design team have done us proud again. So then we have one from Hazel, again coloured with Copic markers, candy cane, and Christmas letters, a stamp set. So she's done a little bit of tearing here, layered up with just a piece of cardstock she already had, and then cut this image out. As I've said before, leave that white line around the edge. If you're not great at cutting out or not hugely confident, your eye is automatically drawn to the image, not how you've cut it out. And then last but not least, another one from Hazel. She's used the candy cane. The sentiment is from Christmas letters, and the background is using lovely bubbly stencil. I love it. Beautiful Christmas card. So that is us done as far as showing you all the fab samples from our design team. So we are now going to roll in to what we're going to do this evening, and what you need. Better put my mat out first, that would help. So, what have I done with everything? I had a big pile of stamps, there we go. So we are going to be using the candy cane stamp set, because I got the impression you were a little bit disappointed last time we did it that it wasn't a Christmas card. Look at me, look, I've got a couple of burns on my arms from cooking the other night. It all spat back at me. So bear with me, I'm trying to bring it all in without dropping everything. So no oxides tonight. We are using a couple of pens. So we've got red 020, we have got red wine 024, and we have got light green 041. We're also using just a white jelly roll pen. If you've got one, they're great. Sticky glue in the two sizes, the 120 or the 30 mil, Oh look, everything's on the hoof. I don't like it when it's like that. It makes me feel seasick. We're using the Distress the VersaFine Onyx Black, and we are using crystal clear embossing powder, anti-static bag, and white cardstock in 250 or 300 GSM. We do both. See, Amanda, I noted Christmas was required. So this is actually quite a quick, easy card to make. I am going to give you a couple of different options because we couldn't decide between us which option to use. So you will get a couple of different options on what you can and can't do with it. A couple of different ideas. So you will need, I've got to separate it all now because I've got all the different ideas all together. So we've got an 8x8 card. We've got a piece of red mirror card, and that is 7.5 inch square. And then we've got a piece of white cardstock, which is 7.25 inch. You will also need some offcuts for stamping. So when you cut an A4 sheet of paper, you always get lots of these pieces if you're cutting them square. So I always keep all of those. We are multiple stamping, so we can stamp it out twice on the offcuts. Now let me sort out all my muddle that I've got here so that I can show you the different ideas I had without it going all over the floor, which is not going to be ideal if it did. Right, so we will start with the stamping. Hi Mandy. So I'm going to pop that off to one side and we're going to take one of these pieces. Oh, you are also going to need a piece of red ribbon if you've got it. I've got a piece of red satin ribbon here. Or if you haven't, take some of those offcuts I keep telling you to keep and just colour it red so that you can finish it off. You need something to ground this down. It will make sense when we get there. Right, so we're going to stamp these images out first. VersaFine Onyx Black. Let me take my carry sheet off there, otherwise we'll make a mess. Stamp your image. Just take that ink off there that I've just managed to land straight on there. Now you're going to stamp this out twice because we're going to cut it. Sorry Amanda, you've got some fussy cutting. But remember what I said. Or if you want to stamp it onto an oval or a die cut that you've got, you can do it that way. You don't have to fussy cut. You just all know I like fussy cutting, so I tend to. So we're going to stamp this image out. Now I always take my ink to my stamp, not my stamp to my ink. I find it much more successful. You get much more even coverage on your stamp than if you try and take your stamp to your ink, particularly with the larger stamps. Now I'm going to work super quick. To save me some paper, I've twisted it around. Now, as I say, I'm moving a bit quicker than normal because I want to get that embossing powder on both stamps at the same time. Crystal clear embossing powder and tip that all over, preferably on the stamp and not straight off the card. I just did. Thankfully it landed on a bit of paper underneath. A light tap to get rid of the excess. You are colouring this in, so you want to try and make sure that you don't get any ink, any embossing powder anywhere that you want to be colouring. So really you should have used your anti-static bag. And as I said, say before, do as I say, not as I do. I've just had a horrible thought and I can't see where my sentiment's gone that I cut out. Ah, there it is. Whew, panic over. I thought we were going to have to stamp and cut it all out there, faffing around. So that's your stamping done. And where did I put my stamped image just then? That was clever, covered it. Don't know if I'm going to be able to pick that back up. Yeah, it did. Thank you, Lord. So we are going to heat emboss this. I do this from underneath, those of you that haven't seen us before. I do it from underneath because the embossing powder doesn't particularly like VersaFine Onyx Black or any VersaFines. So it puts a bit of a barrier between the heat and the air that comes off this heat tool, and still gives you a very smooth finish. So it takes a couple of seconds to get going, but once you do, don't wave your heat gun around like you're blow drying your hair. As the embossing powder heats and melts, just move your heat gun with it. Almost like that the powder is chasing your heat gun. Right, that's the hardest bit done. So give that a little bit of a wiggle. Then we are going to take our colouring pencils. Now I always remind you that these need to be blotted. You have got some, you'll have resist now because you've got the embossing powder on there, and wherever the embossing powder is, and if this ink touches it, it will spread like wildfire. I'm going to come in a little bit. We seem a long way away. There we go. It's a little bit better. We may have to pull back out in a little while, but so I'm going to go in. I think we're going to do the green first because the red smudges and it smudges everywhere. This is just regular cardstock. I'm not doing any blending. All I will say is if you're using the clean colour watercolour pens, real brush pens, you need to work quite quickly, and don't be tempted to go back over the same area, because if you do, you'll start to tear the card. And to keep that colour blending, and not get the tram lines like we all used to get when we were kids, you kind of need to work a little bit quicker because you're not on watercolour cardstock, so it won't move around for you. And it doesn't matter if it's not perfect. If you go out of the lines, what's the worst that can happen? Somebody can tell you and you're not going to give them a card again in the future. You will still have a little bit of time with it because you've got the embossing powder on there as well, which will hold some ink on there. But just don't leave it forever. Now obviously I'm only going to colour in one. You don't need me to colour in them both because I've already got some cut out, but you will need to colour in both of these because you're taking different elements from the second one. But remember, go in and blot. And then I am using the red to start with, so we'll go in and do the red ribbon on the candy cane. As I said, I'm not being particularly perfect about this. So, and then we've got the berries to do. But remember, blot. Red goes a long, long way. And I know we're cutting it out, but there's still quite a lot of white on this. So be careful. I'm dreadful. I go really quiet when I'm colouring. Which is not great when I'm doing a Facebook, is it really? And a YouTube. But you'll get the idea. Now I know we are colouring in the ribbon as well, and I am colouring in the ribbon red, but I do purposefully do the berries separate and not scribble over those lines because there's parts of that bow that I'm going to be doing a different red, and so I don't want to get carried away and just go over the top, so we'll do the bow completely separately. And where possible I do try and go around and use these pens in a circular motion. It does help with that, getting that tram line that we don't really want. So again, go in and blot. Now, I said I'm going to do some of this ribbon a different colour, so I'm just doing the tails. Do those first. Then I'm going to do the bit in the middle. And then I'm not doing these little alcoves, which is like the inside of the ribbon. I'm not colouring those in. I don't know about where you live, but I've just looked out of the window here. And when I started this, it was quite a bright evening. And now it looks like we might be getting that rain coming in. It's looking a little unpleasant out there. Can't believe how quick the nights are pulling in though, can you? Or is it just me? Right, so we are almost coloured in. Now obviously, as I've said, I need you to colour in both of these. And I'm not going to hang around and cut them all out, but I am going to colour this in because there's a couple of little bits I want to show you on there. Again, blot. Right, so this is now wine red, and on my bow I'm just going to pop a little bit of darker colour in the centres here, and then the bow kind of goes that way, so just on the edge, just a couple of little flicks in the direction that the bow is going. And I'm going to just pop a little bit of colour on the ends of those ribbons there as well. Also in the centre here, on that little bit in the middle, just add a little bit of colour. I'm also going to take the darker red, which is this wine red, and fill in the inside part of that ribbon that you're going to be seeing. Because it would be slightly darker if you tie a bow, the inside is going to be slightly darker because it's got the shadow of the ribbon above it. So that's that bit done. I will show you up closer again in a moment. Again, blot. You've all gone very quiet on me. And then I'm going to take the white gel pen and I'm just going to pop in a little bit of white just on those berries, like the light's hitting them. Now when I do that, I'm also going to do a little bit on those ribbons, just in exactly where I've just done those darker bits. Again, not perfect, just literally a couple of little scribbles. My gel pen's quite old, so it doesn't show it as well. Could do with being a bit whiter, but I'm just going to come in and you can see the tiny little bits of white that I've just popped on there, just to give it, gives it a little bit of dimension. You obviously are, Carol, because you've all been so quiet. So you're going to colour both of those. You are then going to cut one out. If I flip that over, I have gone right in on the edge of mine because that is what I like to do. But if you're not the most confident at cutting, remember, leave yourself that white edge, or stamp this onto an oval or something, a rectangle, something like that, that it fits onto. I wanted the detail on this one. I also cut out this little section. I'm out of sight there, look. This little section off the second one. But I took off these berries here. And I cut out a bow. Alright, so that's the hardest bit done. The colouring and cutting, I promise, is the hardest piece. So we're going to go back to our card. Now, as I said to you, there's a couple of different options here. I am going to just grab my cardstock. So I want the white piece now. It's blowing a gale out there too at the moment, good grief. Right, I'm going to take my scoring board and I'm going to turn this on its side slightly. I want my lines to be at, oh, I'm coming too low here. I think we're going to have to stretch ourselves back out. Don't know which way I've got to go. That way, I think. There we go. Otherwise I'll run out of table to show you. So I want my lines to be at 4 inches. So 1, 2, 3, 4 inches. And I'm going to put myself a piece of cardstock across there. And I've gone for cardstock because it's heavier weight and it will stop me going any further than I want to. You are going to have to hold that in place though. And you are going to score at every 1/4 of an inch. So this is similar to what you saw me do on, oh, try and stay on your lines. Oh, good grief. I'm trying to do it so that you can see and I'll keep going off the line. That's probably a good idea because I can show you a little trick to hide that too. So you're going to go all the way along. And when you are finished, you will end up with like we had last time. Probably easier to see this way. So you've got all the little lines all the way across, every 1/4 of an inch. Now you all saw me struggling and going, oh, coming off the lines there. I'm going to show you how to undo it. It won't be perfect, but if you do make that error, find yourself something with a flat bottom. Now I've got my kebab stick. And I'm just going to flip this over and hopefully, can we bring that right in? I'll try going as close as I can. Ooh. Can you all see where I went over the line here? So these are my 2 outer lines. Now I scored on this side. Whoop, gone out of focus. Put it back down on the floor, Amanda. I think we've gone in too close, haven't we? There we go, we're back in focus. So they're every 1/4 of an inch, and this is where it went off. I went off pieced. So I'm going to flip that over, and I'm going to take the flat bottom, and I'm just going to rub the back end. As I said, it won't be perfect, and it's better if the bottom end of your tool is clean. But it pretty much rubs out where I went over the lines. You can't really see that, can you? It just pushes the paper back through. If you looked super close, you would see it, but if you don't look too closely, you can't really see it at all. So, little trick. See, look, you do get the odd ones. So you've now ended up with all your lines. Now it's up to you which way you want it to go. I think I'm going to go that way. So we're going to just stick this card down first. What didn't I do before we came? Oh, we're good. Put my glue on. Make sure my card's opening the right way around. We're going to come back out because we're going out of focus left, right and centre here. And you can see what I'm doing then, can't you? So we are glued that up and position that cardstock on there. So that is our red 7.5 inch square. I'm then going to take my white piece. I'm not sticking it down yet because I've taken my ribbon and I have got red liner tape on my ribbon. Now I've run out of wide red liner tape, so I'm giving myself a real challenge to try and take this skinny stuff off the back, which I probably should have done before we came live. So here we go. I'm going to go the whole hog and take the whole lot off because it will drive me mad. So we've taken the red liner tape off. I don't want that card in the way. I am going to stick this down just above where my lines are. So top of my line is here, and I'm going to pretty much line my ribbon literally just above that and press that down, and then take it around the back, and that will secure that in place. So we've got our lines. I've got mine with the embossed side up. You could do it with the embossed side down if you wanted to. And we're going to stick that on. Very close to the edge there, so we'll just get rid of that. So we had a couple of little options I talked about. I should have probably shown you this before I stuck my ribbon on, but it will give you an idea. I did think about popping, and these would have been on before, so the bottom wouldn't be there. Popping some red strips on here. So I'm just giving you a couple of other little ideas. I have decided to leave it completely white, but these are options. If you like to do a little bit more fancy faffing and things like that, it gives you a couple of ideas. Can't count, that was going to be 4 lines. So I've done it every 3 because I thought every other one was a little bit too close. So bear in mind, those bits at the bottom wouldn't be there, you wouldn't see them. So it'd be like so. And then we would take our our candy cane and position that on here, our sentiment up here, and our holly and a bow down here. That was one option. Okay. The other option, so there you go. You kind of got the gist of how our card's going now. The other option was I had some old dotty embossing card, or if you've got a big embossing folder, you could do it with dotty and then pop those in the same area. So they're just a few different options for you, so you can see the different types of cards effects you can get with the different types of paper that you're using. We have gone completely plain white, and now you've seen what we're going to do. I am just going to glue this down. Just be a little bit careful, because obviously where you've cut it out is quite flimsy up the top here. Put your sentiment, your candy cane down, and I'm going to pop my holly. I'm actually going to give a little bit of shape to that ribbon. Just curl it a little bit. Just going to take those ribbons around the edge and then pop my nail in there just to give that a little bit of shape. So you've got a slight bit of dimension to it. Cool, you have all gone quiet. Anybody still there? I'm going to position my holly, but I'm not going to press it down too hard just yet. And then I'm going to take my bow and pop that in place. Once I'm happy with where my bow is, then I will pop that holly down harder. There we go. And that is our Christmas card. I'm glad somebody's still here, Mum. I think it's just me and you now. Everybody else has given up. So there we go. Merry Christmas. Oh, I haven't put my sentiment on. Good grief. Hi Margaret, I'm glad somebody's watching with us. Put my sentiment down. And we're done. Really simple, easy Christmas card. Hope you like it. I'm glad it was a little tip you could pick up, Carol. Right, if you can come in, you can see where we've put the little white lines on there, a little bit of shading on the edges of the ribbons. I love fussy cutting, Denise, so that's why. But as I've said, the trick is, if you're not hugely confident with it, is to leave yourself a little white line all the way around the edge. Amanda, as I said, you could easily pop that onto an oval shaped die if you've got one, and that would work as well. So I think that's quite a cool Christmas card to send out. You could do it in a smaller version. If you wanted to do it as an A6 card to pop in the post with no dimension, it would be perfect. I mean, obviously we're all aware of how much the postage is costing these days. So that's another option for you. So I think that's us done. So you get me again now. Lucky you. Oh, I've got embossing powder all over my hands. That would work too, Deborah. Mia, I'm glad you like it. I hope you've enjoyed your first visit with us at Honeydew Crafts on our lives. So yeah, I think that's everything I needed to do with you this evening. Just a little reminder, we have our Facebook Live, our Hobby Maker show on Monday. They have changed our times today, lastminute.com. We were going to be on at 2 and 5. We are now on at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock in the afternoon and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That's on Hobby Maker. All the information is over on our either on our Facebook page or our Instagram, or if you pop onto our website under calendar of events, it's on there as well. Although I can't remember if I've changed the time on there. Better check that. Martin, if you're still watching, we need to check that time. Yeah, so that's everything today. I hope you've enjoyed the demo again today. If there's anything anybody wants to see me do, please ping me a message, and if not, I will see you all again in a couple of weeks' time. I am not confirming the next date yet because it's a bit chaotic here coming up. So I'm hoping to do it in 2 weeks' time. If not, I will let you know. So 2 weeks' time is what, the 29th-ish of August. But if it's not going to be then, I will let you know the new date. Take care, everybody. Have a lovely evening, and we will see you